scream at the ref, appealing another yet-to-happen decision. 5 will have to have their legs amputated as they'll be too ashamed to walk back into their local after realising they're not footballers. Thank you for that. That's an excellent description. Well, thank you also to Muttley, who sends us a picture of pigs in blankets and says, yes, Messrs, pigs in blankets are not just for Christmas. They look fantastic.
Right. We're back on with SRILANKA on strike. Now, this is the man who so desperately needs a run, any run to his name, and I think he's already got 2 of them with that first ball. Well done to the Sri Lankan captain, who has just carved that one out from this is a replay of the wicket, which was caught by Petluquayo. Third ball of the over, Maharaj. It's blocked back down to the bowler. And hopefully I'm in my groove now. We await Maharaj to deliver to SRILANKA, who takes a wild swipe at it. It's gone all the way along the ground, but there's a man out there at long on. That is the lanky frame of Marco Jansen. And that'll be just a single to SRILANKA. You see the catch again. Petluquayo did have to go down, take a little bit of a slide onto his left shoulder, but in the end a pretty simple catch at that level. It wasn't coming terribly fast to him, and he'd expect that to be taken 10 times out of 10. This one is just worked away on the leg side by SRILANKA, and they will trot through for the 1.
Yes, you're not popular with Muttley. He said, wicket, first ball of coverage. Boo, get him off. You're showing your bias. We should...
That one is going to be no run into the covers for SRILANKA, who has got 1/3 of his recent average, I believe. What's he averaging? About 7 or 8 or 9 for the last few months.
Yes.
So off to a flyer with 3 off 4.
He can barely bar around.
154 for 5. What have we got?
That medal jingle is legit, says Grom. And Deepesh Katawada is with us. Says, wicket, sir. Yes, 20 to 27 overs, 1 wicket. Not sure what that means. Yeah, and we're up to date on tweets.
That's probably a prediction that there will only be 1 wicket in 20 to 27. In which case, we need 6 wicketless overs. No, which is possible. Here comes Lungi Ngidi into the attack.
Who's deep in conversation with Temba, although not quite on the same level. I'm sure on the same level, perhaps intellectually, but physically, there was quite a difference.
Physically, no contact. And Ngidi around the wicket to the left-handed SRILANKA. That's just played out into the covers for no run. It's no contest between Bavuma and pretty much everybody in the cricket playing world. I mean, is there anybody as short at international?
How tall is he?
Ooh, now you're asking me.
I don't think he's as short as you think. I think he's about 5'6".
Not very good at these things. I don't even know how tall I am.
I'm sure people will put me right if I've got that wrong. It's entirely possible.
He's 1.62 metres, which in the old money is...
That's just a dot ball there, played straight back to the bowler. You're doing some lofty conversions.
A lofty conversion.
5.3 feet, which is about 5'4".
Yeah. It's reasonably small, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you stand next to Marco Jansen, for example, then it does look beyond ridiculous.
Yes.
Ngidi gliding smoothly in again around the wicket, and SRILANKA just drops the bat on that. It's played out into the covers. There's a shy at the non-striker's end, but no real panic. No harm done. The shy misses. And it's 155 for 5 with half of the over gone. So What's all this phase score? What new metrics have they invented?
Well, I was quite taken with the idea of a lofty conversion. I mean, that sounds a bit like having your attic rebuilt, but not quite. It's a bit like having...
I think I was trying to get at someone having to use the highest thinking organs of their body to do the maths.
We're going to have a lofty conversion, not completely a full one.
Ngidi over the wicket now to the right-handed Shanaka, who very watchfully plays that out into the covers in decidedly defensive fashion.
Yeah, Marco Jansen is 2.06 meters tall as opposed to 1.62 meters. So that's a foot and a half, isn't it? Difference.
Yeah, I mean, arguably he should have 2 lockers in the change room and Bavuma only 1. Although Bavuma's captain, so... But when your clothes are twice as big... Not to speak of shoe size. Here comes Ngidi once
Indeed.
more. And that one's quite wide. Decent length. Shanaka has a flash at it. But being out of form, I suppose, he misses it. Which is a good thing, because he probably would only have nicked that behind. He stays on 3 from 6. So Ngidi's already looking pretty sweaty, which is understandable. It's a hot Delhi night, isn't it? Any sign of dew so far in this innings? I haven't managed to catch too much before coming on.
I haven't noticed any.
No, I don't think we've seen too much of it.
Yes, there was talk that was one of the reasons for bowling first. Here's Ngidi once more. Final ball of the over this time. Another wide one. Shanaka does get bat on it, but it just dribbles out to point, and there's no run. So finishes up dew or no dew. 155 for 5, just the one off the over.
He's been going well.
Still 33. It is still 33 degrees in Delhi, so and the humidity is 44, so it's certainly still pretty humid and hot.
Are those optimal conditions for dew? I wouldn't normally associate it with such.
No, I think that's the thing. It's possibly a little early.
Too hot. Yeah.
I was just and
the air quality, as usual, is stated as very unhealthy.
Which is probably putting it politely.
Yes.
So we're going to see continuing.
Sudo says, calm it down with the predictions. We don't need a new one every over. Well, we're just being our own sort of win-viz, aren't we?
We're all closet betters. That's what betters do, isn't it? New prediction every over. Here's a Maharaj around the wicket to SLvsSA, who edges it down towards... Well, he's going to pick up 4 for that. To third man.
Took me by surprise. There you go.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Did not take the drummer in the stadium, which I'm still going to call the Feroz Shah Katla because I like the old name. Didn't take him by surprise. He doesn't need much of an excuse to get banging away there. I think he'd started even before it had crossed the boundary rope. This one is just going to be a hurried single, which is less hurried because of a misfield over on the leg side. SRILANKA adds 1 more to his total. Something happened.
Excuse my yawn. It's been a long day.
We've had you on duty everywhere, Messrs. You've been...
Well, if you will insist on living in ridiculous time zones.
Yeah. No, Perth has got the best time zone in the world for cricket. Mind you, so it's China, with 25% of the population in the world is here.
As Shanaka goes back and pushes Maharaj out to the sweeper on the offside for another 1. Yeah, it's obviously very friendly for the subcontinent, not too far away in terms of hours, time difference from South Africa or the east coast of Australia. I suppose only England remains particularly unfriendly.
England's all right, because especially for day games, they're usually over a bit after midnight my time.
This one's played straight down the ground, but Marco Jansen will cut it off. There'll be no run. What about West Indies? Surely that's
West Indies is a nightmare.
Ghastly.
That's hopeless. And New Zealand's tough because they start really early. Start about 6 o'clock my time, which is way before I get up.
Yeah. The time difference between certain parts of Australia and New Zealand is a lot more than people think, isn't it? Maharaj in again to SRILANKA, who just turns it off the hip and This is never going to be more than one run. It's all very sedate. Fielders trot in as the batsmen trot through.
Pace has been the way to go today by and large, though. 8 wickets in the game thus far to 2 as taken by spin.
Yeah, that's a good point, and flies against history at this stadium. So one more ball to come from Maharaj in this over. Lands on a nice length, draws Shanaka forward, just squirts out on the leg side. There'll be no run, and the over closes with a score 162 for 5. Do we have social world news?
Sikandar Kashkali says India's responsible for making cricket boring. Flat boring wickets, short boundaries. Well, I'd respond to that by saying I don't agree at all in terms of these wickets. I think these are excellent cricket wickets. The boundaries are actually long, but to be fair, it's the responsibility of the ICC rather than the BCCI during the World Cup. But I like what they've done in setting long boundaries and having decent cricket pitches that aren't too batter friendly.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Totally agree with you, Messi. Sixes ought to be something special.
Yes.
And I like how the pitch did a little bit today. I'm looking forward to watching, hopefully seeing some real spin-friendly wickets at some point in the tournament as well. It always adds an interesting dimension to a tournament. When it becomes just a run-scoring contest, then I'd say it's necessarily entertaining. Ngidi draws SRILANKA down the wicket, takes a few hops down the pitch, wild swing at it, which he misses. It's going to go down in the scorebook. There's a dot ball. So SRILANKA's going to have to rethink his strategy now. Ngidi's smiling. What's he got up his sleeve? Can't be anything very big because he's wearing short sleeves. Almost 10 runs and over required at this point. The current rate is as near as you like to 7 and over.
Which, remember their power play, which was double what Sri Lanka, what South Africa had achieved.
Absolutely. This one is short from Ngidi. That's what he had up his sleeve. It's somewhat backfired. Not sure that achieves anything for the fielding side, getting wided. But perhaps he just wants to sow a seed of doubt in the batter's mind. I think South Africa will also know if they can break SRILANKA. They're pretty much in there and can look forward to an early bath. But there's a danger of trying to force the issue. So will Ngidi persist with the short one? That's coming. Here he is around the wicket to the left-hander. And it's just erring onto the straightish side, onto leg stump, and is turned away to find leg for the 1. Which will bring the supposedly vulnerable Shanaka onto strike. Replay of the wickets. Oh, I've just seen Jansen's first. Oh, there were a couple of spectacular balls, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. They certainly were.
Oh, that is worth replaying. But the others all pale in comparison, quite frankly.
Yeah, it was a hell of a ball to get first ball. That bowled wicket, it was just unplayable.
Here's Ngidi to Shanaka. That's also going down leg. I think that's going to be called, is it not? Yes, umpire's flapping his arms in the direction of the scorers. So you'll have to bowl that again. Yeah, it's the most significant swing by a long way that I've seen in my sessions today. We've seen a little bit of nibble off the pace when South Africa were batting. So.
Well, it seems that these balls only swing for a couple of overs. So you need to make the best of it then.
You need more than one wicket up front, as Sri Lanka learned this morning. Ngidi once more. It's a little bit fuller outside off stump. Shanaka waits for it and just guides it down to third man for the 1.
But you do still get a new ball at each end, don't you? Which means you're basically getting 4 to 6 overs of it doing something, and then not a lot after that, by and large. Which is what what befell Sam Curran, I think, because he was bowling magnificently in the first couple of overs, including getting the 1 wicket to fall against for England against New Zealand. But then It all the wheels came spiralling off.
Ngidi into the SRILANKA. And again, strays onto leg. And again, it's just turned away. And an easy one down to fine leg. South Africa won't mind ones at this stage. But as we said a minute ago, what they'll want impatiently is that one more wicket that should effectively seal things, barring a miracle. Shanaka, it's so much talk of his poor form, it's easy to forget he does have a century in this format. 108 not out, his best. Batsum Shanaka, the Sri Lankan captain, he's on strike now. And Gideon once more. That's wide, he slashes at it. Edgy, goes in the air, but falls well short of Marco Jansen at third man. All smiles from Ngidi. You can tell he's not feeling much pressure. He's enjoying his work out there. He's bowled 2 wides in this over. I'm finding it amusing nonetheless. And if he can keep it on the straight and narrow with this last delivery, that'll be the end of his 5th. Chris Silverwood watches on, not looking particularly enthralled, as you'd expect really. Then Ngidi to finish the over. This one is whipped away in the air using the pace. It's going to be 6 runs for SRILANKA. He will hop ahead to 42. That was nicely done, and he was ready for it. And Ngidi had bowled a few too many that had strayed onto leg.
Yeah, Ngidi hasn't done all that well tonight, I don't think. Brent Steenkamp says, "Hi, I'm just curious, how many other blind folks are listening to this?" That's a good question. I don't actually recall too many blind people tweeting into us. I guess the process of tweeting is not the easiest. But good to have you aboard. I hope our descriptions are sufficient for you.
Yeah.
Well, that is really the idea of radio. So
genuinely would be fascinated to know your critique.
As Shanaka comes forward and defends this one from Maharaj as we get going with the 25th over. It's already time for the second ball. He goes back this time and just punts it down to long off for a single. Second that.
I'm also pleased to report that Leah has arrived home. She says, "I'm home safe and sound."
That's good to know. Uneventful journey, I hope.
Well, she was without Wi-Fi for a lot of it, sorry.
SRILANKA just works this away to square leg for another risk-free single. Bavuma, the captain, is pointing hither and thither, and moving his fielders about. Can't tell you exactly where and who, but he's being active, I can tell you that. Maharaj once more. This one's pitching well outside leg, and it's just bunted back to the bowler by Shanaka. He's, like all the spinners, getting through the overs really quickly. Here he is again. And Shanaka drives that. But Miller does the fielding in the covers. There'll be no run. Just 2 off the overs so far. As mid-on is just dropping back. It's like they're trying to tempt the Sri Lankans into taking a cheeky single. This one goes fast to Miller. Do they take a cheeky single? Because there's a misfield. The camera didn't show us. Anyway,
they didn't.
Taking his cap, and it's 176 for 5.
Appreciable bit of turn, by the way, from Maharaj, but it started wide of the off stump and then kind of went wider, didn't it? But he definitely got it to move away from the right-hander.
Maybe the pitch is finally crumbling.
Well, they only require 10 and over for 25 overs. Yeah, it's not hard, is it?
Key partnership here, if they're going to do it.
They're 176 after 25 overs is pretty good. Pity about the 5 wickets. But
Pity they're chasing 430.
Yep.
they were chasing 330 even, you might think, okay, there's a chance. But the odds here are off the charts to get four.
I mean, they're still well ahead on the worm.
Yeah, it's just those little white dots.
Yeah.
It's the sign of an infected worm, I believe.
Indeed it is.
Yeah, at exact halfway point remaining. It's 253 to go. When I was a boy, that was a good 50 over score in itself.
Exactly. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean there.
It was a long time ago, to be fair. Yeah, Marco Jansen back into the attack. Can he get it to dart about like a madman? No, not on that first ball anyway. It's just worked off the hip for one to the vacant-ish square leg area.
Well, let's re-welcome him musically.
You think Marco would play polo, but there's more money in cricket.
I've only just worked out that jingle. That's the Marco Polo reference.
I'm going to need a couple of goes at it. Here is Marco Jansen, not Polo once again. It's bullish and straight. Respectfully played out into the offside. And Jansen walks back to his mark looking grumpy as ever.
There's one thing that I haven't seen reported much, but which is of quite some significant, not only for tomorrow's India-Australia game, but for the tournament, that Shubman Gill has dengue fever.
I thought that only happened to foreigners visiting India.
Yeah. Well, India are saying they hope he'll play tomorrow, but...
short from Jansen, pulled away, falls safely enough, and there's just going to be the one as it's fielded on the boundary there. It's deep square leg. You were saying? Dengue fever.
Yeah. I mean, it's notorious for being debilitating for quite some time. They say, there's a chance he'll play tomorrow, but I doubt that very much. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if it ruled him out for several games.
Who was that? Sorry, say again?
Big hole for Shubman Gill, who's basically the player of the batter of ODIs for this year.
There's a drop, isn't it? A drop on the boundary.
I think that was a drop.
SRILANKA gave a chance. It's Van der Dussen looking disappointed with himself, life and the world. He's carrying himself like a man who has just let a chance go. Let's have a look at the replay. He's dropped in short from Jansen. It's pulled, it's flying out into the deep, and there's Jansen on the ropes. It's like he took a little while to pick it up, really. He was in the general area from the beginning, wasn't he? But then he had to dive forward.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That it was eminently catchable.
And that's also short, just bounces up pretty loopily and falls harmlessly into the wicketkeeper Claessen's gloves as it's left alone by batsman Shanaka. Yeah, it looked more like a positioning error, or getting into position error from Van der Dussen than anything else from our faraway vantage point. Or are we being unfair?
It was in the air long enough. Maybe he was a little slow to get forward, but even then, it was a good, foot and a half off the ground?
Oh, that's really full from Jansen this time after all the short stuff. But Shanaka gets bat on it and just drops out into the offside. No run, that completes the over. There are 3 from it. Should perhaps have been a wicket, Marco Jansen will argue. But still 5 down, 179 on the board for Sri Lanka.
Messrs from there.
Social link.
Yeah, Messrs has drifted off.
Sorry. Sorry, I was just looking at Rota for tomorrow. Twitter's all up to date.
Live in the moment, Messi.
Yeah.
Be present.
There's some discussion between Brand and Sidahu on YouTube. Brand says he's totally blind. He's chatting via his YouTube app. And he's running he's running voiceover, which is obviously an app that allows typing from speech to text.
As Maharaj continues, and SLvsSA uses his feet and gets some decent bat on it out into the covers. But there is no run as it's well cut off there by Miller, is it not? Markram. Maharaj again, that could have been left alone for a wide down leg, but what is better is 4 runs, because SLvsSA got enough bat on that, beat the diving fielder. One of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, it did beat the diving fielder. He seemed to go down rather slow and in installments. if you watch it. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm being a bit unkind to him. He did a sort of a belly slide. And I think he probably would have done very, very well to get there.
Markram again. He was in the covers the ball before. I'm losing the plot here. Something ain't right. Anyway, Maharaj once again. Oh, it's dabbed behind Quent in the direction of third man, actually. There will be just this quick single, and that brings up the 50. The Sri Lankan fans rise enthusiastically because they got something to celebrate.
Yep, it's a fine effort. We'll give him that 50 up.
Half a century.
46 balls needed by Charith SLvsSA for that 50. Shanaka has a good old tonk at the next one from Maharaj. Plays it along the ground. It's fielded out in the deep long on. Just the one for all the power that went into the shot. And SLvsSA has certainly sealed his status as the glue in this run chase, if we want to call it that, with that half century being confirmed. He now swats it away behind square on the leg side as Maharaj offers him something of a freebie, but they'll just be the one as he picks out the fielder at deep back at square. Shanaka on the cusp of double figures. This will make headlines in Sri Lanka. If he can do it, he takes strike. Oh, but he's in the nervous nines because he's very watchfully defending that down the wicket.
Just 91 short of his ton.
7 off that over from Maharaj, 186 for 5 the score. Over to you, Messi.
But despite 1 or 2 fours, I mean, that run rate still now dipped below 7 and that they're going at, and climbed to closer to 11 that they need. So it's damage limitation, I think. Sorry, Mrs.
Of course, Farong is spot on. He says, I know a mouse and he hasn't got a house. I don't know why I call him Gerald. He's getting rather old, but he's a good
Pink Floyd.
mouse.
Pink Floyd.
Absolutely.
Not Planet Waves. What? Amagama. Amagama, I think.
No, Piper at the Gates of Dawn.
Was it? Okay, well done.
Okay,
yes,
Janssen to continue. This is another defensive-ish shot. There'll be no run as it looks out onto the leg side. And we're seeing a picture of the 2 umpires coming onto the field. A couple of the Sri Lankans being bowled by Mark and Janssen. Lovely presentation of stills in the television broadcast.
Yeah, it's quite retro, isn't it? I rather like it. Rather than just constant replays. It'd be even more interesting if they sort of turned them into black and white or sepia as they did the stills. That would be quite an artistic way of presenting the highlights.
Janssen once more finds a little bit of in-swing to SLvsSA. It's not entirely convincing with that shot, which ends up dribbling out towards square leg. There'll be a single. Yeah, those stills and moments of emotion and game-changing moments. Far better than watching a compilation of sixes, if you ask me. They all become rapidly indistinguishable one from the other.
Surely Kurtzer gets the award for the over-celebration of the day.
I haven't seen that yet. I'll look forward to the highlights.
He's imagine Stuart Broad, but with additional anger.
Janssen once more. He's cut away as he offers some width there. But Shanaka has found a fielder, so they'll just be the one, and it does take him into double figures. He has got 10.
I was wondering whether those photos are stills or whether they're actual photos that have been taken separately, which I suspect they are. There was a really interesting interview that one of the podcasts had with one of the more prominent cricket photographers, and it was fascinating learning how much work is involved.
Was it Phil Brown? Phil Brown's the one most people think of.
Janssen short. There's an attempted pull. It's top edgy. Oh, and it's dropped on the boundary again. It's Petluquayo, the man disappointed down there in the shadows. He was very, very close to the rope. I still don't know what else to call it. The rope. Not as close as Van der Dussen was. Van der Dussen had ample room to play with on his opportunity an over or two ago. This one, he had to think about staying in field, and he was in reasonably good position, but it just popped out. He was, however, he almost had a boot on the inside of the rope as that one came in and fell out of the hands.
Well, also both. Now, so it's going to be a 4, isn't it? For sure. Yeah.
Oh, they look. Yeah. Okay, that's 4 runs to SRILANKA.
1, 2, 4, 4, 2, 1. My name is Lakan. My name is Lakan.
Janssen once again, nicely bowled, full and in swinging. He fields himself. But you always want it the other way around, actually, if you're Petluquayo, because he's already taken a catch and now he's dropped one. You definitely want that to happen the other way around. He'll be praying for another one to come his way so he can put it right and go to sleep with a clean conscience. Oh, he signalled 6 there.
Oh, did he?
The umpire. Yeah, he did. He gave a little signal of 6. And the umpire said, no, you're only getting 4. Short outside the off stump. This has got to be called. Oh, no. Looked like it had gone straight up. That was an illusion. It actually went over the wicketkeeper's head. Janssen turns away in disgust. One of these.
2 + 2 is on my mind. 2 + 2 is on my mind.
That concludes the over, which went for 10. Marco Janssen will contend he was the moral victor in an over that contained 2 decidedly streaky boundaries. Yeah. Sri Lanka live to fight another over, 196 for 5. How's it looking in social?
I misinterpreted what voiceover was. Brand says, just a quick correction. VoiceOver is the built-in screen reader for Apple devices. At the moment, I'm being lazy and dictating. Well, why not? I use dictation for a whole lot of my messages. It's a lot easier than typing them on bloody text, that's for sure.
Yeah, and young people don't seem to understand this.
Oh, well, I mean, they
small fingers.
Yeah, they did it at a rate I couldn't possibly contemplate. I just don't get it. But yeah, dictation is so much easier. It may be lazy, but it's effective. Oh.
Oh, look who's back. Do we want a jingle for Kagiso Rabada?
Always.
He's got one of the best.
Absolutely. Always want Rabada's jingle. Here he is.
What's his name? He's a high roller, rock and roller, scariest, deadliest, killingest bowler. He can sink your oats like the Spanish Armada. No one faster, no one harder. What's his name? What's his name? Tell me, what's his name? KG.
The run rate remains 7. The required is over 10 as Rabada comes in to start the spell. It's going to be turned away off the leg side. It's a pretty ordinary ball, to be honest. Straying outside leg. There'll be another single for Shanaka, as we are reminded that tomorrow is the big one, India versus Australia.
So not quite as big as the India versus Pakistan one, but it's definitely a big one.
It's the official start of the tournament as far as India's concerned, I think. Everything else has been a distraction.
Free hit.
Meanwhile, yeah, there's going to be a free hit. Rabada has been caught overstepping by some way. After a brief conference between captain and bowler. Here he comes again for the free hit. It's SLvsSA will have strike. He's well set on 60. Takes a good old heave at that one, and of course the catch sticks this time. Was that from the distance? No, it was not from the distance. Not there, deep. The catch is, of course, with no pressure, taken no problem, in almost exactly the same position that Van der Dussen was a couple of overs ago. This is the kind of thing that can frustrate a fielding time side that feels it's really destined to win sooner or later and would rather it be sooner. And that one beats the edge. It's a nice response from Rabada. Goes through to the keeper, no run. And Shanaka luckily didn't get any bat on that.
I always wonder what's the psychology if you're under a steepling catch from a free hit. Part of you must go, well, what's the point? I'll just let it drop at my feet and then pick it up.
Not a good look, though, is it?
This has worked away into the leg side for no run. Yeah. I mean, if you're me and you're dreaming out in the deep, you probably haven't noticed it's a free hit. So you think it's for real.
It's always that, yeah. Yeah, I think I might struggle with that. But at least then you don't...
They will always stick.
Well, yeah, but you don't carry the risk of then embarrassingly dropping it then, do you?
There's many ways you can see that, I guess. So much psychology. The Shanaka pulls this one pretty gently. And he's going to get 1 for it. And that brings up to 200 for Sri Lanka.
Yep. Fantastic effort, that.
And the 50 partnership.
Yeah, superb from... SLvsSA has done very well. In this partnership, 61. It's a 50 partnership as well.
Rabada drops it short. That's pulled out of the chest region by SLvsSA. There'll be another 1. Far too few boundaries if you're Sri Lanka at the moment. And it's all drifting a little, as games like this tend to do.
Well, it's in the interest of both teams to... Well, it's in the interest of Sri Lanka to narrow the gap. It's in the interest of South Africa to extend it.
Yep, there is the whole run rate narrative, and it's the interests of Kagiso Rabada to build his confidence with further deliveries like that one, which, again, beats the outside edge. There'll be no run. How are we looking in social?
Stephen Kelk says Sri Lanka making a reasonable job of limiting damage to their net run rate. I also see, when I look at the YouTube screen, a whole lot of names, nice people scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Tony, how would I go about getting my name?
Well, you could become a patron.
How would someone else?
You can get that.
How would I do that?
You could go to our patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket, or you can go to guerillacricket.com and they will find all the details of how to become a patron, for which you get, I think, for a couple of dollars a month, our eternal gratitude. $5 a month, you definitely will get your name scrolling there. You'll also get Smaximum, our regular newsletter, although it's on a little bit of a temporary break at the moment.
Here's Marco Janssen. This one is hoiked, and it looks like a good strike. It looks like it's going to go over the rope for one of the big ones.
Absolutely.
You came out of your hand and into my zone. Now it's up in the stands. It's a 6. It's beautiful and it's mine.
That was a classic holding the pose from SLvsSA. He knew he'd connected with that right, didn't he?
Yeah, it was right in the slot, wasn't it, from Janssen? And made no mistake. Only just cleared the ropes, mind, but safely enough. Here's Janssen again, looking for a response. It's full, almost full, tuss full. And there'll be no run to mid-off. 142, that delivery. Still some reasonable pace from Janssen, as I guess we've seen throughout his bowling spell today. And we're just getting a little look at a package of some of the good fortune that SRILANKA has enjoyed. One top-edged over the keeper's head. One drop, at least, in the deep. Janssen continues over the wicket. And they're going to sneak one there. No, it's going to be a dot ball. It's well cut off by Markram on the leg side. .429 target. Long way off.
And remarkably, the worms have just about coincided now.
They've converged, have they? They've made friends. Okay, this one, there's a risky single. Oh, if that hits, that would have been close. But it's getting to that stage where you may as well take a risky single. He'll get away with it. SRILANKA adds 1. Stolen into the covers. Was it Maharaj who took the shy there with the left arm throw? Oh, I think he would have just been home at the non-striker's end.
Yeah, he was home safe enough, I reckon.
Not taking one there every day of the week. But it's do or die now for Sri Lanka. Well, it has been for some time, really.
Yes.
Jansen's into Shanaka. It's short. Shanaka pulls it not entirely convincingly. Looks a little edgy, but nonetheless, there's enough on it to go for...
These.
Oh, I say, chap, you're getting there.
A bit more like he was just trying to get out of the way of that and wafting his bat at it, but certainly wasn't looking at the ball as he struck it. But you get something on it.
Yeah.
It'll fly.
These two have put on 64 at 6.6 and over, which in the circumstances is pretty good.
Absolutely. Jansen in to complete his over now. It's a good ball. Deserves to be a dot ball, and it is. 214 for 5 after 30, and we are due a change of roles at the very least. I'm not ball by balling anymore.
No,
I'm staying.
You are indeed. The Bear's coming in to ball by ball. If we can drag him away from his highlights editing duties.
I can have my lunch, though I was going to have 20 overs ago.
You can have lunch. What time is it, Messrs, for lunch?
11:34 p.m.
Well, it's a tad, shall we say that's a bit late? That's you might as well wait for another 25 minutes and call it a midnight snack. that would be
definitely do.
Well, if you're still going, I'll see you in 10 overs.
I think we should. I think we will be the way it's going. We await the thundering of ursine paws. Here he comes, armed with some red wine as well.
Ursine, you've taught me a word. Please explain.
Of the bear. You should look up bears on Wikipedia. The description is quite entertaining, I think.
Is that where I will find Ursine?
Well, you will. Yes, you definitely will.
Brilliant.
Well, it's as we all know, if you were listening on the last game, it's Fat Bear Week, or Fat Bear time of the year, where you have the competition in Alaska.
Ah, good lord, yes. Is that the thing where there's a whole internet
well, I can tell you,
spot them or something?
It is indeed.
Carnivorous mammals of the family Ursidae. Common characteristics include large bodies with stocky legs, long snouts, small rounded ears, shaggy hair, and plantigrade paws with 5 non-retractile claws and short tails.
Okay. I have no tail. I got short paws. It all sounds good.
Shaggy hair?
Yeah, I've got shaggy hair at the moment.
You're ticking most of the Ursine boxes, man.
I am. I will have you know that I'm getting better at this highlights thing. I've managed to do the entire first innings.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, that's good news.
It's longer than the other ones as well, which is quite interesting.
There's nothing more satisfying than learning how to make a boring job go faster.
Well, yeah, this is why I was trying to get an intern, Richard. But as I said, anyone who's listening to us who fancies editing highlights at the end of the day, it's quite easy. We log the times, and you just got to basically cut and paste all the little files next to each other. Put an intro and an outro. Well, no, you don't have to do those. You have to put an intro. We've got a theme tune, and then we've got an out sting, and that's all you have to do. And if you do that, you'll go in my eternal gratitude. If lots and lots and lots of people download our podcast, then actually it'll generate some money because we're with a new podcast provider, and then you'll get paid post World Cup when we know how much we earn, but we're prepared to pay. So if that's your boat, please do get in touch. DM us on Twitter or email us, and I'll bite your hand off. You don't have to do it every day. This is one thing I thought, actually, is if you're trying to get someone to do it every day, it's 45 days in a row. It's quite difficult. But if 2 or 3 or 4 people want to do it, and we can, work out a rota and divulge it so everyone does 1 day and 5 or something.
You could do an online training course to get to onboard people, couldn't you?
I could do. That's quite easy.
You can write some of your copious how to do things notes that we...
I hate that shit, man.
Yes, we noticed that in the way they're written quite often. But nonetheless, it was just a thought in passing.
Well,
maybe we should have just let it pass.
Yes, exactly. I don't think I'll ever make a good teacher. I don't think I've got the patience. Rabada is back into the attack. Whipped off his hip by SLvsSA. I've been really watching going what's on because I've been editing. 73 or 59. He's doing all right.
He's doing very tidily.
Now, why wasn't there a fielder there to drop that one? Everything that's gone in the air down to that backward square leg for the last little while has picked some unfortunate out, but he'd come a lot squarer.
Well, that's short. Through the keeper. Has it been given as a wide? Yeah, it hasn't been given as a wide. It's a widey wide.
It's getting a little sloppy, isn't it?
Well, it is. Well, we've got 20 overs to get 200 with only 5 wickets. It's not
one of these.
The 200 has been done before many times.
Not with 5 wickets though.
Well, 200 in a T20.
It's doable. That's doable. Yeah, but if you had 10 wickets, if they had 2 wickets down now, you go maybe. That one's just defending the leg side and there's no run. I mean, it would be extraordinary from here. SRILANKA would have to get another 100 at least. Shanaka would probably have to get at least 80.
And as was quoted earlier, the average T20 score here was, I don't know if that was IPL or all T20, but it was somewhere around the 180-ish.
Yeah,
I think.
So clearly,
then again, records have been broken.
Well, they are there to be done that way, aren't they? Well, there's a 4 more. There's certainly 9 off this over so far with 3 balls left. As that one is pulled out to deep wicket boundary. I mean, it does say something that we said Sri Lanka bowled really poorly. Clearly, there isn't a lot in this wicket for the bowlers. There's a lot of runs out there.
Well, South Africa are not helping themselves because they seem to have decided to just bowl everything short now with increasing regularity.
Maybe it's just the fact that there isn't anything in the wicket. They're trying lots of things. Sri Lanka tried lots of things. None of it really worked. And they got hit for lots of runs. SRILANKA just works that around the corner down to long leg. He'll get 1. That's 10 off that over. I mean, they need 10 and over. They've got 10 off that one. They've got 2 balls left.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to bang everything in short and ask the batsman to pull, then you need to have as many fielders as you're allowed out there on the fence. And they also need to catch, which hasn't been the case.
I mean, I don't know what Dasan Shanaka is like, but he's a number 7. So there's a chance he can bat. Has he got a ton in his life?
Give me a second.
He's got 108 not out in ODIs.
I do believe he has.
Has he got 108 not out in ODIs? Ooh.
108.
Nice. I did say that, 108. That one's defended in the offside. There's no run, so he can bat. So there's a potential. I mean, it would be fantastic if somehow, I know it wouldn't be for you, Richard, you'd probably be biting your fingernails off, but if this somehow got down to a final over, it'd be astounding, wouldn't it?
But if that happened, I would have missed the entire England-Samoa rugby match.
Wow.
And South Africa would have...
Do England have to win? They've only got 1 game left. They've won 4, haven't they? So they get through. They're through, aren't they, England?
Yeah, I think England are through.
That one is pushed out into the offside. Oh, there's a throw at the stumps. Doesn't hit. Could have been quite tight. But there is no run. There is 1 run.
I think it is a fairly academic game, to be honest, even if Samoa managed to upset them.
Which could be possible, let's be honest.
I think it's down to Argentina and Japan to fight out second place either way, if memory serves.
Yeah, because we were worried about Argentina and somehow managed to beat them.
It's been a boring group, speaking as a neutral.
Yeah.
The England group.
Well, there haven't been that many really exciting games, have there? I mean, the island, South Africa was really exciting. Australia walloped Australia. I mean, in some senses it wasn't very exciting because Australia was so shit, but it was a good game to watch.
The Fiji, Wales, Australia groups had some fun narratives. It's possible that none of them are very good, those teams, but Still, it's been entertaining.
Well, you get
and
through
Wales
the group
look
stage.
Like, in World Cups, always a force to be reckoned with.
Well, exactly that, you know.
Much like New Zealand and the cricket.
Yeah.
No matter how badly things may go between quadrennial
and having
events.
said that, I mean, the All Blacks are the weakest I've seen them for quite a while now.
Yeah.
2-2-6 for 5, and Geedy is around the wicket to SLvsSA. Not sure he got any bat on that. I think it's a leg by out to mid-wicket. It is indeed. Now somehow I've got to skin up a spliff whilst I'm commentating. I've had a glass of wine now, and I'm quite chuffed the fact that I've managed to get the entire first innings done in less than 20 overs.
Well, I've kept you up to date on the notes I've taken. Hopefully you'll be able to read them.
Yeah, well, that's the important bit. That's why typing them might be, you know, just a little bit easier for me.
No, go retro. It's more intriguing.
I don't want to go retro. Was that Frozen? Shanaka tries to guide that down the third man, misses it completely. It goes through to the keeper. And there is no run.
This will be a real captain's innings, even if it doesn't take Sri Lanka all the way. If Shanaka can come back into form by supporting SLvsSA and just providing some morale with a big partnership here.
Well, this is it. I mean, you think
a boost for Sri Lanka.
There were 300s for South Africa, and the rest was some decent chip-in scores. Down the track comes Shanaka, can't be the man of wicket, and there's no run. He looks pretty organised, to be fair. Maybe he's a better batsman than he's a bowler. His bowler didn't cut it for me. But we had a decent, 70-odd from Kusal Mendes. If SLvsSA can add to that, get the right side of 100 to make his 70 up to 100, so 130 from him, Shanaka gets somewhere up near 80s and 90s. And the last 4 wickets could chip in some runs at a rate. You never know. It could be somewhere.
It's fascinating times.
Indeed, this over.
The Lankan worm has pulled ahead of the South African one again.
Has it really? Wow, that's quite interesting. It's just the wickets, really, isn't it? At this point,
it's all about the wickets, particularly the next one. I mean,
they're only 2 down by now, weren't they? South Africa. Geedy in and cut really fucking well. I'm not sure if he bounced it over the man at backward point or just hit the gap, but Shanaka has cut that beautifully down to third man, gets himself a 4. He moves on to 23, Shanaka on to 231. Maybe this is just a wicket for runs. I mean, well, the one thing that is, whatever happens from here, Sri Lanka look like they'll save a bit of run rate misery. Pulled hard by Shanaka, but straight to square leg. Looks like Reza Hendricks down there. I mean, he must be on the field for someone. Was he? He wasn't in the starting 11, was he, Reza?
No, he wasn't. And yes, it is quite right that South Africa had only lost the 2. Quinton de Kock had lost his wicket by this stage in their innings, and it was the 38th over before wicket number 3 fell down.
Okay, do you know why Quinton de Kock is not out on the field?
I've not heard any.
We think it was
just dehydration.
We think just dehydration, but we haven't heard anything to the contrary.
And Geedy in, throws that wide, and it should be out. Oh dear, oh dear. SLvsSA has given it away. It was up there to be hit, to be honest. It was maybe a little bit slower and a little bit wider. Geedy tosses it up. And unfortunately, SLvsSA got the outside half of the bat, sliced it out towards deep point and was caught. And that makes it, what was that? 232 for 6.
You silly little boy, what on earth are you playing at? On your bite, mate.
Nicely taken catch by the diving
The second key wicket of the day, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Just when you think they're getting there.
Probably will hasten the conclusion now, you suspect. Mark Zip, in the meantime, says, if you do purposely drop a steepler on a free hit, wouldn't you at least have a chance to run somebody out? Baseball has the infield fly rule for just this reason. Although there is no requirement for the batter to run in cricket, unlike baseball. Yeah, we were having a chat earlier, Bear, about if you get a catch under a free hit, steepling at you, why don't you just let it drop, and at least you got you don't risk dropping it, and it wouldn't count anyway.
Well, yeah, I think that's happened in the past, to be fair. Just make sure it bounces, stop it, throw it back in. Certainly if it's one that you're going to have to make a lot of ground to try and catch. I guess the problem is trying to remember that it's actually a free hit and you don't actually have to catch it. And having the wherewithal to do that.
Yeah, catching a cricket ball does tend to consume all of your attention.
Yeah, exactly. You don't go, oh shit, it's a free hit, I don't need to. You go, oh, it's up in the air, I've got to catch it.
Yeah, we are trained to do that as cricketers. Velalage.
Yeah, well, it's done it.
Velalage.
Velalage. Do you think it's a Vela or Weller?
That's what I think.
We had the debate earlier.
Can't be quoted as an authority.
But we'll jingle him up anyway.
This kid's such a little punk, but that boy just
Guided his first ball. Oh, he's not. Because it's the beginning. I was going to say it must be the beginning of a new over because Shanaka's facing.
There's a bowler to jingle as well now.
Yeah, it is. And change of bowlers. Kurtz's back on.
I can happily do that for you.
All happening.
Shanaka's just guided it down to third man for a single.
Royals replaced the ill and disloyal. They called on the young, hurts each other.
I'm going to just read this out, if I may. We had Brant Steenkamp, who is a blind listener on YouTube. William Ventner has joined us as well. Shout out from another blind listener from South Africa. I listen to most of your coverage. Lots of appreciation for your high quality coverage and interesting chatter when the game gets boring.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, William.
Much appreciated.
You're with us.
Is that Edge? There's a wicket peeled, it's gone. Kurtz has got a wicket with his second ball of his new spell. It's gone past the outside edge of the new batsman. He's been caught behind. Welalage has been out first ball. The first ball he gets to face. Just prodded at it. It's a bit unfortunate. Could be quite likely to happen. Well, not likely, but you know what I mean. You're never in until you're in. And having faced one ball, he's just poked at it, got an edge through the keeper, and he's gone.
Oh, we said SRILanka's dismissal would hasten the end, and
it certainly really looks that way.
Within a ball.
Yes.
Proving
there was nothing happened strange. I was gonna go out strange.
Yep. Let me get a few more messages in on the back of that, if I may. Stephen Kelk, Afghanistan, Netherlands and England currently have net run rates of minus 1.43, 1.62 and 2.149 respectively. Stephen also says, a GC intern, the mind boggles. Intern required to help with production duties where production duties are defined in a broad sense, i.e. fetching beer and cookies from the shop. No, not in this instance. This is a very genuine request. It's not just about keeping us fed and watered. It's much more about...
You can do it from home. You don't, if you could be anywhere in the world to do this. You don't need to be here. We're keeping timesheets here, and we can share files via Dropbox.
And along with us.
And you can make your own coffee.
Well, yeah. Stephen also says, great to hear from you. We'll just have to wait as this one is defended into the offside no run. Sorry, Bear, I'm helping you out there. You looked occupied.
Well, I am occupied. I'm trying to roll my reefer. We have a new batsman, and this looks like it's toddling towards the end. What's their run rate at the moment? This must be around about 7 now, isn't it? 23, 3, 30 overs.
Yeah, I must be hovering around there still. What have we got?
It's under 7, it's about 6.8.
I'm not sure about... Is Kurtz wearing a sort of Rambo headband, by the way?
7.13, yes he is.
Yeah, oh my God. That's through to the keeper, and there's no run.
7.13, but it needs to be 11.3, so they are well south of that.
Yeah. It reminds me, was there an Afghanistani bowler who used to wear a sort of the full Broady, but one that actually had the little tie at the back like that. I'm sure there was. Maybe a T20 player on ODI.
Did Imran Tahir this?
Did he wear? I don't think Imran did.
No, I'm probably imagining.
I'm sure he has done it once or twice in his life. I've seemed to picture him in a headband at one point before he really grew his hair out.
Full slashed at by Rajita, and he sliced it down to third man. There's no one. What's Rajita's highest score?
I'll tell you in a moment. I'm going to find his jingle and then give you that very piece of information.
Right, and I, of course, am doing my duty in terms of Imran Tahir photos.
Where is he?
He does wear has been known to wear a thingy on his head. Not as broad.
Oh, here he
as
is. One. Got him. Oh, I should have. Here he is this time.
I lost my place to the
Just play back past the bowler. They through for a quick single. I think Maharaj has a go at the stumps, misses, and they get through for a single.
wasn't fun. I've had the Colombo cold turkey from candy down to gold, and it's best if he just doesn't bat at all.
Well, there you go.
If that's the case, and he's coming in at, well, I suppose he's coming in at 9. That doesn't say a lot for 10 and 11, does it?
I was going to look up his figures for you, wasn't I? Our friend Rajita. Let me just see if I can find him. Where is he? I don't know if I'll have his highest score. If I don't put any scores down from a batting perspective for a bowler, it means he doesn't very often get any runs.
Fair enough. And Geedy starts his 7th over. Shanaka pushes it behind square on the offside, and there's no run.
And I haven't bothered in Rajita's case. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong guy. But Rajita. Let me see. He made 1 in the warm-ups.
That's large.
Again, I haven't really captured any other information about his batting, suggesting there isn't much to say.
Oh well. Slashed at by Shanaka. It's through to the keeper, and there's no run.
Through to the keeper on the bounce. As the sting goes out of the bowling and the pitch and the game generally.
See, I don't know if there is any. Maybe it's just, I don't know. I look at the TV and I think, oh, that looks dewy. And it's maybe just because it's so polluted and atmosphere looks so thick under
it's
the
hard
lights
to say.
that you think that's all humidity, but it might not be. It might not be water hanging in the air. It might just be fucking pollution. Pulled hard by Shanaka, but straight to deep square though.
It's probably one of those things you need to be there, and we will be one day when we are the accredited commentary team for the BCCI.
That'd be sweet. I really don't want to deal with the BCCI. And everyone's wankers.
Just for the World Cup, we'll deal direct with.
Funny enough, Richard, I know Tony's bored of hearing this, and so is everyone else in the world. But I'd actually worked on the last World Cup as the sort of director of audio for the official ICC feed, which was owned by a dodgy, I'm going to say this, dodgy man from Dubai. That's driven out to point by Shanaka, who gets it was Rajita, who gets himself a single. Which was great fun, because it was in England, they needed a sound engineer. So, and some of our guys have worked with Barry, who's a West Indian, who was organising it for this dodgy man in Dubai, because he'd worked with him before. So I got the call, and it was much fun. So I have actually done that. I didn't actually own the rights myself, but I did work on it.
And learned a lot, no doubt.
Yeah, I did call one game, but what Barry didn't know, and I'm sure he's not listening to us, so I'll tell you after this, Shanaka is coming in to bowl to Ngidi. Sorry, the other way round. Ngidi's coming to bowl to Shanaka, obviously. And it's guided down to third man. There's a single. On the first day that we did it, which was 5 days late into the World Cup, we were at Cardiff, and they were so disorganised that I basically had to run it like guerrilla cricket. So I bought a laptop, had to sign up and get a Vozcast screen, which is exactly the same as we use here. Used the same software that we broadcast here, and all this kind of shit. Had to go and because we were doing it via internet and everyone else at the World Cup was doing radio shows via normal radio, they do it all through ISDN lines. Of course, we needed a hardline internet line, which they didn't provide, as that's short and let through to the keeper. As if he missed hoik by Rajita. No run. So we basically ran it off my phone for the first 50 overs, and then I had to go to Tesco's and get one of these portable routers, 4G routers, which we then ran the next 4 or 5 days on. But it was so fucking stressful that on my way back through Cardiff, having this 4G router, I was skinning up a reefer driving around Cardiff because I was just fucking stressed. So I smoked this reefer, arrived back with all my data and everything, plug it all, get it up running, and then the only people who were commentating was not Fred, who didn't like being called Not Fred because that's what we called him here, and because he was on proper radio stations, so he kept wanting to be called Alan, and I only ever know him as Not Fred, so I kept calling him Not Fred, and he wanted to be called Alan. I kept going, no, what do you think, Not Fred? And he go, no, it's Alan. And as Shanaka faces up to Kurtzer, he gets driven up to mid-off and there's no run. And then he wanted me to commentate, and I was quite stoned. In fact, I was very stoned. And I was on with Fred, and I kept making that mistake. And because we were the sort of junior partner, we'd been shoved at the wrong end of the ground. So we weren't in the actual media centre. It was very dark. It was Sri Lanka versus someone like Bangladesh with a whole bunch of players, and you couldn't see the back of their shirts. And they were completely unrecognisable because the light was really shit. And I was trying to do this commentary with Fred. I was awful. I never got to do it again. I was guided by Shanaka down a third man, and he'll get himself a single.
Well, that's quite the reveal, the highly professional, technological manoeuvrings that lie behind an ICC official World Cup.
It was a
audio stream.
Well, I mean,
are they doing that for this World Cup?
I have no idea.
Once was enough.
No, I think he had the rights for so many World Cups. He really ballsed it up. He wasn't.
Well, you were off air for quite a little bit.
Yeah, we were off air for the first 4 games.
That's
not. Yeah, well, it wasn't greatly timed, wasn't it? It's kind of toe-ended about over the top of cover, down towards the extra cover boundary. They should have got back for 2, I'd have thought. They do indeed.
By the way, we've just had a really interesting suggestion from Stephen Kelp. Will you circulate a description of the internship position to Patreons, for example, would be useful to help with recruitment. I think that's a very sound idea, and they can put the word out to others. Do you want to draft a quick job spec tomorrow on your day off?
Yeah, I will do.
It's only a 20-minute job, and then post it on Patreon. I think it's a great idea.
I will do. Thank you for that suggestion. So that's cut out to deep point, and there is no run.
The wonderfully named Metal in Both Legs says, I can't do that. Gives a job. Our friend William Ventnor says, I've got a video stream on for the sound effects. You can stream, your stream is just far enough ahead for me to listen to your description and match it with the sound. There you go.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. 2:42 for 7, Sri Lanka, 34, then the 35th over, 34.4 done. Shanaka is facing up into his pads, clips that sweetly, nicely timed, straight to long leg. It'll just be the single. 30 off 44, that'll be for him, so he needs to up his rate, and Rajita somehow has to score some runs. Did we work out what Rajita's top score was? 1.
I'll tell you how I can do that. I'll do it more rather than relying on just my notes.
Because like I say,
because I don't bother to make notes if they hardly ever make any runs, and if they're a bowler primarily.
They never do.
And also, you sometimes just don't even get to bat, do you, in limited overs?
Well, that's the thing. So you want to find out what his first class top score is, or something like that.
As you want to know.
Full ball, slower ball. Kurtzer drops on Rajita and just clunks it out behind square.
17 not out.
Well, he's over a third of the way there.
And I can tell you a little secret. My note making rule is 20. So if they're predominantly a bowler and they've got their highest scores hasn't ever made a 20.
So we know if you don't have the highest score, they've never scored more than 20 in a
correct game. Basically, right. Yeah.
That's a good fact to know. That's a handy little thing to know.
There you go.
That was Rajita.
I don't bother writing it down.
He moves on to 6. It was the end of the over, so he'll retain the strike. 2:44 for 7.
Unless they did, the highest score was 2, but it happened to be the winning run in a really, really important game, in which case I might record it, but by and large, I wouldn't bother.
Fair enough. And Geedy is going to come in for his 8th over. And I think that was another slower ball. And Vegeta went to drive at it and completely played over the top of it. He was lucky not to be bowled. It's through to the keeper. No, ain't no run.
So Shanaka's on 30, and I've just been having a look at just how terrible his form has been. There's much spoken about terrible form. If he gets to 31, he'll be matching his the best score he's had since 31st of March.
Oh, wow.
This year. It'll be something of a milestone for him.
He's had a pretty terrible year.
Yeah, after this ball, maybe I'll read out the scores he's had since then.
Well, and Gidi is into Vegeta. He pushes out on the offside. There should be a run out. Oh, they had more time than that. It was dumped out to point. Shanaka called Vegeta through. And Vegeta just was ball watching and didn't really go. Whoever was at point, who I didn't see, threw it at the bowler's end, but he had more time to that. Someone should have been at the stumps, because there had plenty of time to just lob that in and run him out. Vegeta was nowhere in frame. But instead they loved it at the stumps and they missed him by a mile. Yeah, he was at the wrong end. And if Ngidi had actually thought about it and got back to the stumps, he could have quite easily run him out. It looks like it was Markram who threw at the stumps.
It looks like everyone's switched off just a little.
I don't think they have to worry South Africa. I mean, this game for now is basically about Sri Lanka trying to at least limit the damage to a net run rate of whatever it will be if they get to 280-ish roughly. That one is worked into the leg side out to deep square leg, and there's no run.
Which does take him to his best score in about 6 months. He's barely been out of single figures since then, and he's had quite a few innings actually. So well done to him. And the next target is the 108 not out, which was also in 2023 back in January. He scored 108 not out against India and Guwahati, and then it just all went south.
Okay.
Is this the start of a recovery?
Well, 108 here would do well, wouldn't it? That's full. It played out by Vegeta. Doesn't get anywhere near it.
It's a slower one again.
Yeah, another slower one. He needs to bowl that a bit straight, really. I think he'll probably get LW or bowled. Through the keeper, there's no run. 2 balls left in the over. 2:46 for 7. We might get into the final 10 overs here.
Yeah, it could happen. Farong was saying, what's the weather forecast for Chennai tomorrow, Messrs? We'll ask Messrs when he comes back. It would be a shame for a full house and the weather spoiling the day. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Football is a stupid game along with Thugby, he adds.
Ooh, I can agree with half of that.
Yeah, Thugby, I like that. That's another slower ball, and again, it's completely missed by Vegeta, but again, it's not straight enough to actually miss the bat and go into the stumps. I wonder what Chris Silverwood will be saying to the Lankans after this. Don't worry about it.
So he looks like a man giving a serious lecture to children about not getting in cars with strangers.
Yep. Well, I mean,
it's just the body language.
The one thing he does have to say is, you know, okay, you're a bit rusty, everyone has a bad game, it's one game, it's not the end of your tournament, is it? That's Vegeta pushes that out to point, last ball of the over. They don't take a run.
If that was the talk you were giving, you probably wouldn't want to sit there man-spreading in quite the same way as he was in the film we were just watching, but I take your point. I'm just thinking of Farong, who's a lovely chap, and we correspond a lot. And the reason he's thinking that football is not a great game is because his team lost 3-0 at Everton today.
Who's he?
He's a Bournemouth fan.
Everton got a win.
Everton
I can give much more comprehensive reasons for football not being a great game.
Our friend in Cape Town's going to be happy because Man United got a win.
They came back. They were 1-0 down, weren't they?
Yeah. Burnley were 1-up. They ended up losing 4-1 to Chelsea.
Oh my God, Chelsea won 2 games in a row.
And what we really want to know, I can tell you Watford got a draw, but I'm going to very quickly look up how Wimbledon got on. I'd seen they'd got a penalty at some point. Where are they? Wimbledon. Oh, they must have missed it because they drew 0-0.
Oh dear.
I can hear the rumbles.
The howls from Wimbledon. Shanaka is going to face up. Short. Oh, it's a massive top edge. I think he's got it over the keeper. He's got 6. Fucking hell, that's the luckiest 6 you'll ever see. Shanaka gets a wicked top edge. His bat must have been at a perfect angle because it's gone straight over the keeper and for 6 runs.
You came out of
Kurtzer in again. Smashed down the ground. Shanaka's on it, mate. He's got 4 more. 6 and a 4 to start the over.
4 on the floor. And 1 more 4 than the 4 before. That's what 4's are for. To get funky on the dance floor.
Kurtzer looks like he should be in Apocalypse Now. I'm sorry.
Shanaka is feeling the freedom, isn't he? Having got into the 30s for the first time since March, he's decided there's nothing to lose, and he's going to throw the bat at everything, and he's middling them. Yeah. Well, the last one he did, the one before.
He smashed that one. It's aerial, though. Surely there's going to be someone underneath it. No, there isn't. There's no one out there. It's gone square. Gone behind point, but 2 square for third man-ish. It's 4 more. 6-4-4.
What was your ooh for? Oh, my ooh was biggest football news of the day. The mighty Beavers got an away win. They won 2-1 at Hampton Waterlooville.
Who are the Beavers?
Hampton and Richmond.
Oh, right.
Hampton and Richmond.
Didn't know that. Was City not playing now?
Well, I don't know.
It's City Arsenal, isn't it? That's probably the late game or something, or tomorrow.
Smash
straight back down the ground again. 6-4-4-4. What a great. Well, Shanaka. It's a 4 and he's on 49. We could have another 50. Shanaka is 49. He's on 6-4-4 in this over so far. Slower ball out the back of the hand, just in the slot. Shanaka cleared his front leg. Whack.
Well, it's one of the positives for Sri Lanka, assuming they do end up on the losing side here. Their captain has
found some form.
And question marks about his place in the team.
And I think he's got another 4. He's got his 4. He's got another 4. 268.7 before. It's a length ball again, slower out the back of the hand, but guided down the leg side by Kurtzer. Dasun Shanaka has just whacked it behind square, pulled it out to the backward square leg boundary. He's got himself a 4. So this over has gone 6-4-4-4-4. And he's got himself a 50, 53 off 50 deliveries.
That is reasons for selecting his landscape seasons.
And that takes Sri Lanka to 268 for 7. And Kurtz's next ball is into the deck. He tries to pull that one, but it gets a single and retains the strike. So that's what? 16, 22, 23 off that over. Nice.
I've recorded that for your notes, Bear, as 507 to 509, big over, Dasun Shanaka.
Okay.
6-4-4-4-4-4-4 and 50. There you go.
Okay, good. All right, I don't have to write that down.
Well, no, I said I'd do the afternoon.
I know. I've got to cross-reference all your notes and my notes as well. That's all right.
Well, I've only done the afternoon session.
That's true.
Which I assured you I would do. If I say I'll do something, I do tend to do it.
Okay, I'll just go off your route, sir.
Right. Oh, I'm supposed to be reading some social media massages, aren't I? After that,
if you would,
chat with Farunga, I will happily give it a go. Leah says, of course I will plug GC. She's talking about her German radio broadcast. Of course I will plug GC radio for all games. I won't broadcast live in German. Would it be okay to use the GC radio backdrop and bill it as another cooperation?
Yeah. What, the logo?
This is when she's doing German language broadcasts.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Messi Jazz, fine weather forecast for Chennai tomorrow in answer to that question. Max 30 degrees, 33 degrees centigrade, and no likelihood of rain.
Okay, that one is cut by Shanaka behind square. Can't beat the fielder. It'll be just a single. Sorry, no run.
I shall certainly listen into that.
Well, you won't understand it. It'll be in German.
Not that one. I was tomorrow's match is what I was talking about.
Cut by Shanaka out to the boundary, and it will be just the one run.
I may still just message a goodwill message using Google Translate and my memory of schoolboy German.
I'm going to have a listen. I'll know what's going on. But if it's going to be football, then I won't be watching for long.
Maharaj has gone for 44 for 1. He's got 1 for 44 in his 8.2 overs. He's around the wicket and he's bowling at Rajita. Tosses that up, goes down the leg side. Should be a wide. Is a wide. The bails are taken off pointlessly by Heinrich Klassen. There's no run. 271 for 7. A bit of damage limitation here from Sri Lanka. Could have folded.
158 76 balls. With the way Shanaka's going, it's not totally lost.
No,
almost
it
certainly
isn't.
is.
Leading edge by Rajita, trying to work it into the leg side. Strong leading edge, goes past Maharaj's outstretched left hand as he dives to try and catch it on the rebound. Instead, it makes itself too long off, and he'll get a single. Got a little bit of flight, that one. Bite a bit and turn.
Yeah, the run rate's tipping 13 now.
Yeah.
And they're going at over 7.
Down the track comes Shanaka. I think Maharaj saw him coming, dragged it shorter, and then stopped. And Lee rocked back and cut it behind square, but it'll only get the one run.
Maharaj is probably positives for Sri Lanka out of this. Also considering some of the top order dismissals, to be fair, the deliveries from Janssen, you couldn't necessarily do anything about those.
No, they were good deliveries. Oh, there's a bit of pad.
It's down leg, sure.
Yeah, I think it's going down leg.
Richard Illingworth doesn't look remotely interested.
It's kind of flat delivery. Didn't give it itself time to turn. I don't think it would have turned enough, and it probably hit him in line with the roundabout leg. Oh, they are going to review. I don't think he hung up enough in the air for it to grip enough, to be honest. I think it's just going to slide down. Yeah, that's what Richard Illingworth is saying. That's what he thinks. So it's what an umpire believes and what a bowler believes and what they see in their balls. But I'm with Richard Illingworth there. I think that's slipping down the leg side.
Crystal, presumably, then.
Huh?
That's
we said what they see in their balls.
Yeah.
Said crystal, presumably.
Did this start to turn or not?
It did start to turn
a little bit.
It might have turned. I don't know actually. Now I'm rethinking. Has it straightened enough?
Has it straightened enough to hit leg?
It might.
I think it might well have done. I don't think there's any inside edge. His bat hits the pad, and then it misses the edge of the bat and goes on to the pad. And I think that's in line with leg, and I think it might have straightened to hold its line enough. It might just be clipping the outside of leg, in which case it will remain not out, but it's closer than I thought it was.
My money's on that.
There it is. No, I don't think it's turned enough. It's actually missing. It is missing. It's not even going to clip the leg stump.
First impressions tend to be best.
Yeah, they were. It straightened more than I thought it had, considering the line it was going down. Which is why I thought maybe I'd change my mind. But it's not out. 273 for 7. Maharaj, last ball of the over. Oh God, that's a peach.
That one did.
That did turn, but it pitched just marginally on, maybe on the outside edge of off stump. Turned and beat the bat or the prod of Rajita, and through to the keeper. No run ends the over.
Right then. Oops, I nearly dropped the phone. Let me see. Mark Zip, check email highlights editing. Oh, thank you, Mark. We will do. That's very kind of you. I think Mark might be offering his services or know someone who's keen, so you want to
that would be
jump
cool
on that. Farong says, early game for Bangladesh today. I had appointments. Tuesday, same again. This will lead to more rum gunja so. England play the Tigers on Tuesday at Dharmshala. We played there today. Outfield was a disgrace. Well, very soft. We can put England out of the tournament. Well, yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't think it's anything resembling a pushover. That is for sure. No, definitely not. Let me jump onto YouTube. I think we're pretty much up to date. Stephen Kelk's fabulous idea about issuing the sort of job brief to patrons. So you've got 2 things to do tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 things to do tomorrow. Plus I've got to take my son to football at fucking 8:15 in the morning.
8:15? What sort of time is that to kick off?
Well, 9 o'clock kick-off.
Oh Lord, yeah, I
suppose I have this bloody long training shit before we go, and I can't even go to Sainsbury's at that time. Yeah, it's been hit square by Shanaka. It's been fielded by, who was that? Was that Markham behind square? Or is it Rasivan Anderson? And then he kind of fielded it, looked like he'd done all right, and then he just sort of keeled over and started rubbing his shin, so I presume he missed it, and it bashed into his shin. It hurt.
I'm actually laughing at Bear's description of the miseries of modern British life.
Well, I quite enjoy watching them play football, I have to say, but I hate the fact that if it's an away match, if that's driven up behind the keeper and there's no run. If it was an away match or it starts too early, you have to get there for, I don't want to hang around while they do the training bits.
Yeah,
it's like 45 minutes of bullshit before the actual game starts. And sometimes the game starts half an hour later as well, so you're hanging around for an hour and 15 minutes waiting for a game of football. When a game starts, I enjoy watching them play football, because I've watched them since they're about age 7. So now that they're up at age 16. Now they're feisty. In those days, no one kicked out and no one swore at each other and all that sort of shit. But now you come up to age 16, there's a bit of grief goes on, a bit of aggro. It's quite fun to watch. That one's through to the keeper.
Yeah,
it's a bold wide.
Wisdom of years.
No run. Yeah, well, they just get more angsty, don't they? They're kids. There was nearly a fight at the end of the first game. Some woman came up and started swearing at our kids. We beat them.
A soccer mum.
A soccer mum, yeah. Giving it all a bunch of that now. Jip.
All aggression, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trust me, well, I don't forget, I've done a lot of football refereeing. I've certainly refereed that age group. Parents can be a nightmare.
Yeah, we're generally... I think there's only one game where we've ever got irate about a cheating referee. Yeah, that was shoved up wide and full by Jensen. And... was it Regita or was that Shanaka?
Something very odd happened on that ball.
He got a massive under edge.
He was trying to guide it.
He was trying to guide it through the third man. He got a big under edge. Instead of going down the third man, he got an under edge that kind of went Vatican slices down the leg side, but close enough.
I'll tell you what, it was spectacular attempt at a recovery from Klassen, because he'd been obviously heading down the way anyone would have expected the ball to go. And he was very sharp to turn and
is this the game when Malinga got 4 wickets and an over?
Yes, I think it was.
Is that a replay or is that?
No, that's a very similar thing again. It's a rinse and repeat of the ball before.
Hell. That's weird, isn't it?
He didn't have to dive quite so far, though.
Yeah, they must have got a single off the last one, but they didn't get off that one. Yeah, exactly that. He's gone to thrash at a wide one. 4 wickets and 4 balls. Christ, that must have hurt.
Cricket World Cup 2007 that was. But South Africa won by a single wicket.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that game. Vaguely.
And then tumbled out in the semi-finals, if I recall.
That one's pushed by Shanaka to mid-off. He'll get himself a single. And then that fabled score that Al Hodge was asking them to get, 280.
Yeah, well, they're going to get there, for sure. They certainly are. Warren says, this game's still going. I'm watching Samoa possibly turning over England. I haven't looked at the score on that one. I've been trying to follow football, cricket and all sorts of other things. Para Badshah says, 9 AM on a Sunday, what sort of muscular Christianity bullshit is that?
This game has gone on terribly long. How many hours has it gone?
Our friend ETH is saying, I'm starting to think South Africa should have played an extra frontline spinner. Pace bowlers not up to standard. Well, you're going to win, ETH, I think, for sure. The only thing is you might like to have won a bit sooner than this.
Indeed.
And by a bit more.
Maharaj is pulled down over long on. I think that might be a smaximum. It's pretty flat.
It was.
I thought for a minute he was going to get caught down at long on, but he managed to get enough of it, Shanaka. Gets 6 runs over long on.
Smaximum, you say?
So.
Maximum.
Maharaj in down leg side. I think it's come off the keeper, and I think it's therefore going to be 5 wides. That's what I'm betting. Can't see the umpire. No. He's certainly signalling a 4. I don't think it came off the pad. It came off the umpire's pad. Yeah, it is.
My name is Lakan. My name is Lakan.
It's 5 wides. Maharaj isn't happy. That one squatted low. He's smashed the Vatican slice now inside the man.
It's gone as well.
Fine leg. And they got another 4 runs. That was lucky. That has to be said. 68 off 60. Good innings from Shanaka. I mean, they've showed some fight. I'll give Sri Lanka that. Their bowling is just really quite poor. They've got to do something about that. I think they need Tikshana back. But their pace bowlers.
Sear will be disappointed with his effort there on the ropes.
Yeah, I mean,
couldn't count for too much.
That was down leg side again. Shanaka tried to give himself some room and managed to make sure that it wasn't a wide. Actually, ended up jamming the bat on it. It went nowhere. There's no run. 291 for 7. After 39.3 overs. We're going to have a change at the end of this over. You're going to take over from me, aren't you? Messers is going to come back.
I think so.
Oh, he's bowled him.
Oh, there you go.
That was a flat dart in at leg stump. He missed the inside edge of the bat. But Shanaka was just standing there, and he just sort of cannoned off his pads, which was probably a good 2 stumps outside leg stump, and then just cannoned off his stump and ran off into his stumps, and he has to go. 68 off of 62.
Fantastic.
291 for 8.
Well done him.
Well done him, yeah.
The wicket seems to have made Maharaj more thunderous than he was the previous ball.
Yeah.
Really angry about having picked up that stick. He goes through some strange emotions.
Yeah, I think he was he's quite angry about some of the ways some of those runs have leaked away, I guess. Which is fair enough.
Yeah, it's that feeling of justice done but too late.
Well, but again, whatever South Africa feel right now, they've got to look at the bigger picture. They're going to win this with ease.
They are, but quite often you see sides just subside completely, don't you, when they're facing such a massive total?
Yes,
Sri Lanka, to their credit, have
kept going as well.
They
haven't tried to, just not score runs. They might do now. I hope these guys just try and hit it out of the park and get it over and done with. Patarana is a new man. His first ball, he just defends out as the offside, and there is no run.
Now, in the same spirit of
Maharaj,
if I don't know his
cover, no run.
If I don't see a batting average for him, it isn't anything worth recording.
Well, it's
and
worse
that would
than
be the case.
Rajitha.
Yes. Indeed, it is. Well, we are due a change.
I'm due to hop out.
Richard, thank you very much for your company,
here, Richard.
The voice.
Been a pleasure to be back. Look forward to the next one.
Presumably a victorious South Africa.
Yeah,
presumably.
And we'll see you next time.
We will look forward to your company again. We should be welcoming back Methuselah of mirth himself, the cave-dwelling Messi-Chez.
Well, I will have you know that laughter is proven to be a very important facet of...
smashed away by Rajitha, who owes... well, no, it wasn't his batting I was rubbishing, although highest score of, what did we say, 17? He might be beating
31,
today.
I thought he said.
No, 17.
No, 17, 31 was the...
that was drilled away through extra cover for one of these.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Actually, given your other expertise areas, you'd be the meteorological Methuselah of mirth, if we want to keep the alliteration going.
Alliterative.
Here comes the very tall Janssen. That's full, looking to York Rajitha, who was wise enough to it, and looks rather dismissively away to the offside where the ball went. It was certainly the Yorker was what he was attempting. It was bowled off his pads. Was SLvsSA in the end.
Well, I've got to say, if Sri Lanka had 295 for 8 off 40 overs in the first innings, batting first, we would have thought they were doing extraordinarily well.
Well, that's what we said before you came on, Messrs. That was our very thought was, do you know what? They've not buckled, and had they batted first, they'd have probably thought this is competitive. As Janssen is in, that's short, and Rajitha didn't like that much. He'd already started to move towards leg, and he sort of ducked sharply underneath it. His batting average is 1.25 in ODIs, and a higher score of 4, which he has already beaten for sure.
Samoa beating England 19-8 this moment, by the way.
Is that sort of a bit of a scratch old England, because they well, who knows, it's all a bit... Oh,
they've already qualified, maybe.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. In comes Janssen. Top edged. I thought I was looking behind down towards third man. The ball actually went towards long off and went for 4. Absolutely not where he was aiming, but he'll take it.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Well, they keep flinging punches, Sri Lanka. They are absolutely on the ropes, and they've been pummeled by South Africa, and they just keep getting up and fighting back. That you have to commend them for.
He's done his shoulder at the same time, hasn't he?
But I think, Rajitha, this is more a concern from a batting perspective, from a bowling perspective for them. He's getting a thorough shoulder massage. I think he's going to be all right. Richard Illingworth has a chirpy word as he passes. Rajitha has a smile on his face. And I think what he might have actually done is smack himself on the shoulder with the bat. I'd like to see that again, but I think he swung the bat round so hard. He smashed himself on the shoulder. But he seems fine. He seems in good order. He's practicing.
He's equalled his top score, Tony.
He's part. Well, no, his top score we've just realised was. Oh no, it's Pathanka, the other guy, isn't it? But yes, he has.
What's the other guy's top score?
4, and the average is 1.5. So we're not expecting a huge amount, but who knows? Full. Oh, well, that was extraordinary. It was a full Yorker again by Janssen to Rajitha, who smashed it back down the ground. And Janssen, whose legs are somewhat longer than most people's, had sort of left it there and managed to trap the ball under his boot. There he goes. Look at that. It was actually quite skillful. He looked a bit like Bambi about to go tumbling onto the ground. Somehow retained his balance. It was quite a nifty piece of fielding in the end. In he lopes. Left arm over. Down the track comes Rajitha and hammers this away.
Top score.
Mid-wicket. Moves into the 20s. He'll get a nosebleed. He's never been this high with his batting scores before.
And 303. That's
the 300 is up. 300 for 8. Rajitha's got there with one of these. Oh no, I always play that. For some reason that swing is just in the middle of 4s, and I never quite know why.
Because it's a 4.
Is
it's just called swing, yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that, Dan?
No.
300.
God, you see, this is the right. Yes, the 300 is up. I can tell you.
Well, take a minute off.
528. 528, 300 with a 4.
So Farong says, Farong, who's now well into his bottle of 23-year-old rum, I should add.
Oh, fantastic.
Says Dharmshala is close to 5,000 feet above sea level, acclimatised. The game will be at today's venue. Our boys will be primed to bring back memories of 2015 for England. England were knocked out of the World Cup in dismal fashion.
Well, absolutely, they were defended by Pathirana, and here's the man indeed who has the top score of 4 and the average of 1.25.
Well, there was 3 or 4 World Cups we were pretty fucking dismal, wasn't there?
There were.
Our home one in '99 where we didn't even make it out of group stage.
2000, well, here in 1996 when they lost to New Zealand in the first one. That was played across 3. I think that was played in India, Pakistan, and maybe Sri Lanka. It was played in 3 different countries. So I know the final ended up being in Lahore. Swing and a miss by Pathirana off the bowling of Kurtzer. Not just a miss by quite a bit. He does look sort of quite combative, doesn't he, with that ninja-y kind of black headscarf.
I just keep thinking, at the end of Apocalypse Now, when Martin Sheen sticks the famous shot where he comes out of the swamp with his makeup. It's just,
I can see exactly what you mean. Yeah, that's 100% with you on that one. 2 for 58 he's got today. In he comes, beats the outside edge again. Pathirana had stepped back, looking to find room to steer into the offside, and he'd stepped back too far. So 3 dot balls from the headbanded Kurtzer. He's got a bit of he's got sort of, I mean he's a handsome fellow, but he's got a slightly aggressive face. You could see he's got...
Yeah. This is the end.
You wouldn't want to...
as his head comes out.
Oh, right.
The doors are playing, aren't they?
Yes, they are. That is right. In comes Kurtzer. Lofted. I think he was aiming to get that up over extra cover. It actually went backward a point. It's still 4 runs for Pathirana, though. He's equalled his highest score.
I thought it was 17.
On the floor.
No, I think that was Rajitha.
That's what 4's a 4.
That is Rajitha.
Yes. Was it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was the other fellow, Pathirana.
But you said the other guy has his highest score's 4.
No. Oh, never mind. I'm confusing you or you're self-confusing.
No. You said Pathirana's high score is 4.
Pathirana is facing who has just got a 4. He's now equalled it with that 4.
Oh, indeed.
And help me out.
I'm getting my red triangle in the wrong place.
I feel like I'm here in capacity of carer at the moment. 307 for 8. If you remember, a long time ago, 429 was the target that was set. Nobody probably saw Sri Lanka passing 300 and getting there, but they have. They are 307.
They've still got 8 overs left. I mean, if they have wickets in hand, you'd say possible, unlikely. They've only got 2.
That stand always just looks like it's about to fall in on itself.
It looks like it is collapsing, doesn't
bombed,
it? There's no one in it. There is no one fucking in it.
Well, it's hard to tell from here.
No, there is. They're all empty seats. There's no one at the stadium.
That was Hendo at Ahmedabad when he was talking about Ahmedabad. What a beautiful, colourful ground it is. Yeah, you can only see it's beautiful and colourful because it's empty. As this one is down the leg side, and Pathirana had stepped away, and again he kind of almost might have nutmegged himself. But it's the end of the over. There was no run. 307 for 8 is the score. Kurtza had 2 for 62. Rajitha on 21 of 24. That's riches for him. Pathirana on 4, and Sri Lanka are showing some serious bottle here, and good for them for it.
Danny, it's done them in good stead.
Brand Steenkamp says a cup of coffee and a pipe plus the cricket makes for a good time. Indeed. William Ventnor says, I'm on the beer myself, but I completely agree that even though the actual cricket is a bit shambolic, South Africa should have finished this off long ago for the sake of net run rate.
Well, I think we agree.
Cheers for entertaining commentary and frustrating cricket.
Well, we're delighted to bring that to you.
Lockie says, Sri Lanka has done well in the face of doom and brought honour upon their families. And Stephen Kelk says Sri Lanka doing much better than I thought they would.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just because their bowling performance is so poor. You thought, oh God,
Well, Chris Silverwood, as we wait for Janssen to come around the wicket, there's a slower ball, wide but not wide enough to be a wide. And I'll take that back.
It is a wide
because umpire Shafadullah says no, that is a wide, and Janssen is wondering back, muttering that I suspect he doesn't necessarily agree with that decision, but it's one of these. Here comes Janssen round the wicket. That's lofted. Is there going to be anyone underneath it? No, it's too straight for the man at extra cover. It's gone straight through long off and gone for 4 runs, and it was, as you heard the bear enthuse, some shot. I think this is one of my favourite jingles. I love this.
It's a jazz.
So chilled. Yeah, it's quite chilled.
What's so good about that is he realised that maybe he's a little bit early on it, so he's kind of slowed his hands down and just blocked the shots rather than just flay at it. He just kind of, concentrate, get the ball in the right spot on the bat, and he's just got it right in the meat of the bat, so he's just blocked it essentially straight back down the ground. 4 run. Fantastic shot.
Well, they're doing justice to themselves. They played, by the way, in the first ever ODI at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. They lost to India by 6 wickets on that occasion.
Okay.
But they were inaugural Arun Jaitley Stadium ODIers. 312 for 8. 42 overs just well, and a ball bowled. Oh, he didn't know much about that, but he's going to get 6 for it.
What the fuck?
That's extraordinary.
That is extraordinary.
That is extraordinary. The Sri Lankan bench stand to a man. Rajitha started to hook, which he ultimately did, but he ducked out the way, turned his body away, and somehow managed to connect with the middle of his bat and absolutely launch it away to mid-wicket for one of these. Remarkable shot.
And Marco Janssen just sort of stares at the ground and goes, what the fuck was that?
Well, that, I suspect, was precisely what he's thinking. How did that happen? That's a better ball. It's wide of off stump. Rajitha had stepped back again, which seems to be his primary modus operandi, and missed it on that occasion. He's having fun though. He's got a big old smile on his face.
Highest ever score. He's got 31 now.
Whoa, he's on fire. But that he literally, I don't think he knew anything about. He looked at me, whoa, I've got 6.
And said, yeah. The equivalent of, yeah, man, yeah.
Or how, or what.
48 off the last 5 overs.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic effort. 111 from 45 balls. Surely not. No. Fuller, though, defended by Rajitha to restore a semblance of order to the entertaining events. Klassen looks like he's got a right old cob on, not surprisingly, because I suspect he's thinking we really should be doing better than this.
Did we know the Sri Lankan 300, by the way?
Bear, absolutely, 528.
Nice, good. Okay.
With a 4. It's even annotated with the fact it came out with a 4 for you.
All right, lovely.
That's all right. Dealing with professionals here.
Nice. Production notes.
This is down leg. Klassen tumbles. Umpire Shafadullah spreads his arms, and it's going to be one more run ball needed in the over, one more run to the score.
Wide.
And Temba's got a look on his face at the moment which suggests what is going on. I think it seems to a certain extent a lack of discipline, but it's also, you know, the devil may care, let's just give it a go, whatever approach that Sri Lanka have taken.
Yeah, and they've got to wait, let's face it, I mean, they've been a bit of luck in there, but, you know, you've got to ride your luck, haven't you?
Full, and another attempted Yorker, but he digs it out to the manner born, does Rajitha, and he'll get a single for it too. Janssen really does look like a man whose horse came in 7th in a 7-horse race.
To a degree, there is nothing more dispiriting as a bowler than some fucking tail ender who's larraping you around the ground who looks like he can't bat.
Well, yeah, Janssen's tried what he can. Well, mostly what he's tried is either short balls or Yorkers. It's been his prime, and wide of off stump has been his third sort of delivery, hasn't it? Slower and wide.
And they're the ones that he doesn't seem to hit.
And they do seem to be the ones that have been more effective, at least in stopping the scoring. That one's speared into leg and defended by Pathirana, who doesn't quite have the range of shots or the audacity of Rajitha. I think it would be fair to say. It's the end of the over, though. 2 for 92 for Janssen, so he's been whoppingly expensive. And is clearly not happy. He does at least have 2 wickets to his name. It's 324-8. 109 from 42 balls is what this Sri Lanka target remains as being. Whilst they almost certainly won't get there, by Jove, they've given it a go. Messers.
Brand says he's hanging on to his beer for the rugby tonight at 9. Scotland versus Ireland. And Lockie says, never before in ODI cricket have so many runs been scored by so few. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't enter the GPL. There's no way I would have picked 750 odd runs.
No. Did we look at the GPL, Bear? You did say...
Yeah, there was no one entered.
Oh, I'm surprised. Well, we need to... I'll tell you why, because the first hour and a half, I genuinely think most of our listeners were focusing on the other game.
Yeah, I know.
Which had kind of started, hadn't it? So you probably... It's human nature more to see one through and then go, right, now we'll switch to the other one. I think it might be. Curtsey back into the attack, or Kurtzer, not Curtsey. That's what you do if you meet the Queen, or the King now.
In fact,
as that one's away, if you're a lady, that one's away to long off. Just a single taken by Rajitha. He's on to 33. Pathirana back onto strike.
And interestingly enough, isn't it? In Apocalypse Now, it's Colonel Kurtz.
It is. Well, that's who it is, of course. Heart of Darkness. Heart of Darkness.
Yeah.
It's Joseph Conrad.
I know, but I mean, he's also in Apocalypse Now. That's Marlon Brando as Colonel Kurtz.
Yes. Well, yes. Playing.
He was.
Here's an idea for you, Bear. A GPL timer on the YouTube screen, so that people know how long they've got to
now
go.
That's a smart idea. That's a smart idea. I definitely like that.
I'll have to work out how I can get a time. I can probably do that actually in fucking Wirecast, you know.
Kurtzer in again. Beats a swing and a miss from Pathirana. Big old smile from Kurtzer.
I'm sure I can do that.
Through to Klassen. So you've set Bear a problem now.
I don't want to think about it.
No, it's not so much a problem, it's a challenge. If it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world, but if it does, it'd be great.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair enough. 321 for 8, 108 from 40 balls.
Oh, so just the time that it ends.
Nearly 3 a ball. In comes Kurtzer. That's full and on middle stump, and it's swung backward a point. Bavuma is the man stationed out on the deep back point boundary. They take a single.
The thing is about the time it would be manually started, so I'd have to remember to actually start it.
Yeah.
It's quite I imagine it's quite easy to sort of screen grab a timer and whack it in there.
Well, at the end of the day,
it's just not automated.
You've got to remember to set it.
Exactly. This is it. This is like the VAR discussion. It doesn't matter how good the technology is, it's the person operating it that ultimately means that it's a success.
Oh my word, that's a great
That's
shot.
launched. Oh, it's going to be caught though. Rajitha's splendid resistance, and he's cross with himself too, has come to an end. He didn't quite connect with that as much as he wanted. He was caught at deep mid-wicket, but it's been a fair old effort from him. 33. It's 322 now for 9. The fat lady is loosening her vocal cords, and I will yes, I will write it down. Just don't look over at me like I can't literally physically do everything in one go. Let's first of all do the wicket. We'll do that one. Although he hasn't been a silly little boy, he's done very well.
What were you playing at?
He was caught by the big run scorer, Aidan Markram, record run scorer, fastest ODI 100 for him today. And there, just for your benefit, I can tell you that was 5:43.
Yes, that'll do. Dilshan.
So that would have been a 6 in any IPL game because of the boundaries.
Probably would have been. And Dilshan, if he's any, hopefully, has he got the other Dilshan skills?
I can't remember who it was who was out. Kurtzer in, squirtily off the outside edge, out towards cover. There is no run.
I can't remember his name. The one beginning with R. Vidutha or whatever. Who got his highest score was 17 previously.
Yes. I'm just going to look it up. It was Rajitha.
Rajitha, that's it. Vidutha. You know, I got the right at the end. I got an beginning.
Indeed, you did. Full, slapped up over backward point. Going to get 4. Madhushankar's come in with the same approach, which is swing hard, and if you get away with it, why not give it a go? He's got 4.
Yeah.
Didn't click it hard enough.
I think we should get the some sort of apocalypse now thing for Kurtzer.
Well, if Mog's probably in bed. Asleep.
The horror.
Yeah,
should be his
said that a few times. But you're right, I get it. That was just a brave shot, wasn't it? I'm not sure it's where he intended it to go.
Totally.
Very thoughtful looking timber. How did that happen? 326 for 9 though. Messers.
Well, they'd have saved their net run rate a little bit.
Yes. Speaking of Melburnians, Sapun says, I've woken up at 3:40 a.m. and there's a surprise Sri Lanka are still in this. Guess I'm not going to sleep again tonight. Well, you're going to need some sleep before you go to Moonee Ponds to do a whole day's work. There, Sapun. Don't turn up too exhausted because it's going to be a long day.
Well, don't forget, that's some hours off yet. No, maybe it's not because he's 8 hours ahead of us.
I mean, it's quite mad, these games a lot. I mean, this game is
Rabada is back into the attack, is defended by Pathirana. Somewhat uncertainly, it must be said, but it did the job and away into the offside, no run.
Isn't it a bit ridiculous that this game has lasted over 8 hours?
Yes, it is. I was expecting to be packing up and going home after the thunderingly big score that South Africa set.
Well, no, I mean, it makes you think. I mean, 6 overs left. If we get long games, they're going to go through to like 6:30. It's only like 9 hours.
That's Pathirana was backing away, followed by Rabada. Although, what was the wisdom of following it? Surely, when you've got 10 and Jack in, don't you want to actually aim at the stumps if they backed away that far rather than stop them scoring? But fair enough.
Keep pulling Yorkers.
Well, I think that is very much the plan. Let's see whether Rabada follows it. No, he drops one short. Wide of off stump this time. Swing and a miss. Through to Klassen. No run. The wrong kind of 50 comes up for Rabada. 1 for 50 he's got.
One thing you've got to remember in the tournament, which stadiums produce runs, and I have to say that maybe Delhi is a place to score runs. Big scores will happen. Well, I haven't said that.
Rather going against history, to be honest. But it's been entertaining stuff, I have to say. Not all the time, but that's the nature of ODIs, I suppose. They can have their moments of lulling.
Well, it's been entertaining considering they're going to get mullered at the end of it, really.
Yeah. Well, it's so much better than I was afraid we'd have.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be some dull, sort of drawn out.
Can Rabada draw this to a close? No, it's past the outside edge as Patharana had stepped away again.
I do think that South Africa's lack of a second spinner has been a huge problem for them.
Yeah, I think so.
They have Shamsi with them, don't they? But they just chose not to select him?
No.
Or is he injured? Well, I can't remember what the...
Well, you think their strength is pace bowling.
In comes Rabada. Bowled him! Swung by Patharana. Head in the air. Where he thought the ball was going, it never had a chance because his off stump has been pegged back. Rabada has brought things to a conclusion. 326, though, is not half a bad effort, having been so pummeled earlier on. They've lost, have Sri Lanka, by 102 runs, or if you want to look at it from the South African perspective, they've won by 102 runs. But a fine effort by Sri Lanka in the end to get within 102, frankly. 420. Sorry, Bear, come on.
Oh, what I was going to say, isn't that the third highest score in an ODI? Has it been 330? Wasn't it? Was the 329?
I think it's the highest World Cup score.
It's the third. I think it's the third highest. No. At this ground, there's only 3 scores over 300.
Oh yeah, no, it's yeah. So actually, yeah,
and 329 or 330 was the second highest.
So they've got out of what is now 27 ODIs, Sri Lanka have got the third highest score on this ground, but still lost by 102 runs. So let's very quickly give you the story of proceedings. Sri Lanka, remember, won the toss. They chose to field 3 South Africans rattled up big tons. Quentin de Kock, Rassie van der Dusen, probably the pick of them because it was a record-breaking 100 in the terms of speed. 54 balls is all it took Aidan Markram to get to his 100. 106 he went for in the end. And decent wagging after that. Klassen 32, Miller 39, Marco Jansen 12 not out. It meant that the enormous total of 428 for 5 was where South Africa got to. I won't embarrass the poor old Sri Lankans by reading those bowling figures again. But in response, they lost Pathan Nasanka pretty early. He went up his third ball to Marco Jansen. Kusal Pereira went for 7. We all thought Kusal Mendes would be the key player, so it proved. He got himself to 76, at which point a guerrilla commentator said he really is the key man if he goes there in trouble, and he went the very next ball. He was caught behind off the bowling of Rabada. Samurik Rama 23, but Charitha Solanka 79 and 68 for Dasan Shanaka, the captain, who is finally back among a few runs before he was finally bowled by Maharaj. And a very, very game 33 from the unlikely Kasan Rajitha got Sri Lanka to finally 326, but after 44.5 overs, that was curtains. 102 run win for South Africa. And with that, Messers, are there any final messages?
Indeed.
From folks?
Muttley says, thanks for the coverage, Primates. Thanks for your donation, Muttley. Sri Lanka may not have won, but it's still the second highest in the World Cup so far. See you tomorrow. Love and sausages. Yes, 9:30 tomorrow morning is British time. Is Australia versus India, and we will be covering that out of the Mooney Ponds studio, so that's not long to wait.
Good.
And we'll see you then. Over on YouTube, a couple of thank yous from Willem Ventner, who's wondering whether Scotland and Ireland can conspire to actually put South Africa out of the Rugby World
Celtic
Cup.
conspiracy theory.
Andrew Stevenson says, I think it's pronounced Coetzee.
Coetzee, okay.
And Stephen Kelk says, thank you all.
Well,
so thank you all for being with us.
Yep, well, that's us. It's our friends from Mooney Ponds in the chair tomorrow, Australia and India. So you can expect a full stadium there, I am absolutely sure. Then we're back on Monday. I can't remember who it is, but don't worry, your London team will be back. And some of them, indeed, will be on air tomorrow.
Indeed.
With that, it's a fond farewell to you all.
Indeed.
Take care.
You got to press the bloody theme tune, idiot.
That's in the highlights.
Yeah, well, hopefully not, but
no,
I'm not going to hang around to control whether it does or doesn't. Where are the bloody theme tunes?
In the thing that says theme tunes?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Never thought to.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, dear God.
Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. First they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sankara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Carol Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. But first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act. But people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pasco, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket, test match insurgency. First they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sankara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Carol Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. But first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act. But people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pasco, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sankara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, Guerrilla Cricket.
Well, welcome to Guerrilla Cricket and the Alanjali Stadium in Delhi for South Africa versus Sri Lanka. South Africa come here looking in pretty awesome touch, but they will be without Anwar Nokia and Sisanda Magala, both ruled out of the tournament with injury. Delhi is a lower scoring ground in ODIs. In 26 of them, teams only passed 300 twice, and the last time was in 2011. It's a ground likely to favour spin.